Can I create a live action of Jujutsu Kaisen using AI? There's only one catch. I'm dirt poor, so I can't afford to pay for any AI tools. Everything I use has to be free. After spending countless hours of experimentation and sleepless nights and lots of caffeine intake, I finally got something to work. Here's a sneak peek.
収束、発散。この虚空に触れたらどうなると思う？術式反転。赤。
Alright, first I did some research on what scene in Jujutsu Kaisen I can recreate. It has to be a cool and popular scene that everyone knows about, but there can't be too much action because current AI video generators, they're not really good at generating action scenes with a lot of movement. So I decided to go with this one.
収束、発散。この虚空に触れたらどうなると思う？術式反転。赤。
Alright, so it's gonna be a scene of Gojo using his red technique, and then it ends with a scene of a forest explosion. The plan is to first generate an AI image of this character, and then plug it into a video generator to get him to talk, and then have his hair blowing in the wind to have smoke and fire and destruction in the background. Then I need to stitch everything together and then add some more cool transitions and visual effects, add some epic audio, and we should be good to go. I started with going to CArt, which is an online platform that allows you to generate images for free. I looked at existing images of Satoru Gojo and looked at what models and lures and settings these people used to generate that image. And then I kind of copied what they did. So I used a similar prompt, I used the same model and lore to try to create a realistic version of Gojo. However, the results I got looked pretty awful. So that's a few hours wasted. This text-to-image method obviously didn't work so well, and I think the AI needs more guidance from me. I need to feed it an image of roughly what I'm looking for. So in Canva, I really quickly stitched together all the pieces I need. So for example, I want the face and the head to look like this. I want his hand and his index finger to look like this. Notice I'm just roughly copying and pasting different aspects together without worrying about blending the edges to make it look perfect, because I'm going to plug this into an image-to-image function which would automatically fix everything. You'll see what I mean in a second. Alright, now that this image is done, I'm going to plug it back into CArt, but this time I'm going to use image-to-image. This gives it more guidance on what I want my final image to look like. You can adjust this denoising strength slider to determine how closely you want the final result to match your original image. If you drag it to the left, it's going to be exactly the same as your image. Nothing will change. If you drag it all the way to the right, it's going to be a completely different image, so somewhere in the middle usually works best. After another few hours of trial and error and generating some really ugly images, I finally got something that looks decent. Now, I don't just want one frame of Gojo, I'd like to make another shot which is a close-up of his face, especially his eyes, which I think are very distinct because they are bright blue and I really want this to stand out. So I basically took a crop of his face here and then did some upscaling, did some image to image to hopefully add more detail and resolution to his face. A cool hack to enlarge images while adding more details is to actually plug this into image and set a low denoising strength, but set the dimensions to like 2 times bigger. This is actually a better way to add details compared with just an upscaler. However, after several hours of trial and error, I really couldn't get a result that I was satisfied with. The eyes aren't as detailed as I would like it to be. Unfortunately, I had to resort to some manual editing in Photoshop. This is to basically sharpen some aspects of his eye, especially the intricate details of his pupil and iris, to make it really stand out even more. After several more hours of editing and injecting caffeine into my blood, I finally got this image. Alright, now for the fun part, to get these 2 images to say the script. So I'm going to download the audio of this original video and then extract the vocals from the background music, which we don't need. I'm planning to add some epic music to this voiceover to make it even cooler. So after downloading the audio from this YouTube video, I simply plug it into this free online tool called Vocal Remover to get only his voice and not the background music.
収束、 発散。この虚空に触れたらどうなると思う？術式反転。赤。
Now to get Gojo to talk. The first tool I tried was HeyGen. Simply create a free account and you get 1 free minute of video conversion, which is more than enough for my case since Gojo only talks for like 15 seconds here. So I went to this photo avatar section and then uploaded my images of Gojo. By default, it crops your character into a circle, so what you need to do is click on the avatar, click edit, and then click original and save it as a new avatar. Next, let's create a video with this avatar. So what we need to do is upload our audio file here. And then once we click submit, what this would do is it would try to make this face say what we uploaded. So let's click submit and see what we get.
収束、発散。この虚空に触れたらどうなると思う？術式反転。赤。
Not bad. I'm going to repeat this with the second image. It's the same steps as before, so I'm just going to fast forward this. And here's the result for the second image.
収束、発散。この虚空に触れたらどうなると思う？術式反転。赤。
For the free plan, you can only download 1080p, which is unfortunate because my image, as you can see, the eyes are pretty crisp and detailed. But when this converts into a video, it does downgrade the quality quite a bit. There is a more expensive tier for HeyGen which lets you export in 4K, but I'm too poor to afford that, so we're just gonna go with 1080. The results that I got aren't perfect, so I also wanted to try another competitor called DID and see if the avatars that they generate are any better. It's the same steps as HeyGen, so I created a free account and then I uploaded the image of Gojo and then I uploaded his audio. So here's the result of DID.
収束、発散。この虚空に触れたらどうなると思う？術式反転。赤。
Notice there's a watermark across the entire video, so there's no way I can use this. I prefer HeyGen's result, so let's just go with that. Now, just these 2 videos, it's not enough. They still look very rigid and it just looks like a talking photo and not realistic at all. I'd like to add more motion, for example, to his hair, to his clothes, and then add some fire and sparks and smoke in the background to really add motion to this video and make it look more realistic. In order to do that, we need to plug our images again into another tool called Pika. This is a free AI video generator on Discord. There's 2 ways to use Pika. The first way is you simply enter a prompt and it would turn it into a video, or you can enter a prompt plus a starter image, which is what we're gonna do here. For the prompt, I want his hair to be blowing in the wind, I want some fire and destruction and smoke moving in the background. And then I'm plugging in the photos that I generated. There was a lot of trial and error here, so I had to keep generating and refining the prompt and just hoping that the next video would be suitable. Here I'm saving some of the videos that I think I could potentially use for the video, but I'm not sure yet. I'm just keeping the ones that I think are decent. They're not perfect, but I can do some post-processing later to make it look better. Alright, the next part is stitching everything together. So you can do this in whatever video editor you want. I'm using Wondershare Filmora. There's a lot of visual effects I want to overlay on top of this video, for example, this red orb. So I'm just gonna search on YouTube for video overlays and then download some suitable ones and then drag it onto my video. If you set the blend mode to screen, it would blend in nicely with the rest of the video. I also played around with the right transitions to use to move smoothly from scene to scene. And then when he opens his eye, I also want there to be a subtle glow or glitter effect, so I'm going to search on YouTube for something again. And then I'll choose the right ones to download and then overlay it on top of my video, again using screen as the blend mode. I'll put this effect on each of his eyes right when he opens them. Now on to what I think is the most important part of this whole process. If you remember our videos that we generated from HeyGen, they're still very rigid and it doesn't look realistic, there's not enough motion. And that's why we generated some videos from Pika, which added motion to his hair, to his clothes, and to the background. Now we need to merge both of these together. So to do that, I basically overlaid the Pika video on top of the HeyGen video, and then I masked out his face. So basically, his face is the talking face from the HeyGen video, but the rest of the video is from Pika, which has, wind blowing his hair and his clothes, and then there's fire and destruction and smoke in the background. So this end result gives me a truly realistic and fluid video. Now for the final part of the video, if you refer back to the original anime video, it's basically Gojo firing this red orb, which destroys the forest and destroys this volcano guy. I want to generate a massive explosion in the forest, and we'll end with that scene. So first I generated some images in CArt of an explosion in a forest at night, but I couldn't really get any satisfactory results. I also tried generating some videos only using a prompt involving an explosion in a forest at night. So I generated some videos in Pika as well as another free platform called Zeroscope. However, the videos were also not what I was looking for. So I think I needed to guide the AI further on what exactly I wanted, which is a huge, impactful explosion. What I ended up doing was I took an image of a forest at night, which I generated from CArt, I plugged that into Canva, and then manually added some explosion effects onto that image. Then I plugged this into Pika to generate the explosion video, and here's the final result. So it's not perfect, but we can add some post-processing later on to make it look good. Next step is we simply add these forest videos back into our video and then add some more post-processing, add some transition effects, tweak the colors, brightness, contrast a bit, and we're good to go. Now, as you already know by now, I'm too poor to pay for any AI tools, so all the AI videos that I've generated, they have a watermark at the bottom right. But it's actually not hard to get rid of this watermark. All you need to do is mask it out with another part of your video which is similar in content. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. Don't tell them I told you this. Next step is adding sound effects. So I'm searching on these free platforms called Pixabay and Sample Focus for free audio samples. The first thing I want to find is an explosion sample. So I'm browsing through Pixabay to see if any are suitable. And decided to go with this one. Let's add this to our video. I also want to add a subtle sound effect when Gojo opens his eyes. I don't even know what to describe it, I guess like a swish sound, so I'm just going to search for that in Sample Focus and see what I get. And alright, let's go with this one. And then I'm gonna add this to our video when Gojo opens his eyes. Alright, we are almost done. There's just one missing part, which is adding some epic music to the background. The only problem is, I don't know anything about music. Fortunately, a good buddy of mine, Akuya, makes some pretty dope music, so I'm gonna ask him to do this for me. Alright, after adding this awesome background audio into my video, and then doing some final polishing and adjustments, we are ready to go. Here's the final result.
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Please let me know in the comments below what other live action videos you would like to see